Time for more load testing. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Joe here from Scruffy Arms. Hey, if you're not subscribed, do me a favor. Subscribe. Doesn't cost you guys anything. Hit that like button. Hit the notifications. Just helps us get around all the algorithms that YouTube has. So today, we are back at the range with the 6.5 Creedmoor, but we brought a buddy. I brought my Model 70 270 Winchester. If you guys have been watching the channel for any time, you know it is my 270 is my favorite rifle. It is a collector's edition. It is the Cabela's 50th anniversary. Just a beautiful, beautiful rifle. And you know, I've got a lot of factory ammo for the 270, and I was able to find a load that actually worked for it. But with the ability of hand loading, I can really, really tune a load to this rifle. So that's what we're going to try to do today. We're still running Varget, and I've got 3 more load ups for the 6.5 Creedmoor, and I have 3 load ups for the 270. So I'm going to get everything loaded here. What I'm looking for in the 6.5 Creedmoor is we want to be above that 2,600 feet per second mark, and we want good accuracy. We got phenomenal accuracy, but we were closer to that 2,500 foot per second mark with one of our loadings. It is by far the smallest group I've ever shot. It was teeny, teeny, tiny. And that is great. But we want to make sure our velocity is high enough. So the standard hunting ranges that we're going to do, we have enough energy on target. Now that one still did give enough energy. It would definitely kill a deer within 300 yards, which is perfectly fine for this. And if we can't get any more accuracy out of these next 3 loads, we're going to get the one that is the best overall. I'll load that up, and my wife will start coming out to the range and practicing with it. So I'm going to go ahead and get my ears on. I'm going to get everything loaded up. As I did last time, I'll have you guys watching the chronograph, and this time I'm going to remember to actually start it so that we do get all of them. We are doing the 37.5 again so that we can get that data, because I completely missed it last time, and it was a decent group. And the previous group was just around that 2,600 feet per second, so I want to see what that is. We have 2 more loadings above that, and I'll tell you what those grain weights are, and I'll tell you what we're doing for the 270 as well. But so you guys, first time going, here is the 6.5 Creedmoor. It is a base of a Ruger American Go Wild. We have it in the MDT Oryx chassis. We have a right-on 3-18 first focal plane on it, and a Yankee Hill Resonator K suppressor, and the Magpul bipod. So guys, I'm going to get you set up watching the chronograph. We're going to send 3 shots down. I'm going to switch out the rifles. I'll show you guys the 270. We'll do 3 shots of that, switch the rifles out, and we're going to do that 3 groups of each. Should be a pretty quick range day today. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything set up, and we'll get going. All right, guys, Varget 37.5, 6.5 Creedmoor, 129 grain soft point. There we go, a little bit faster. Woo-hoo-hoo, that one jumped. 598. All right, 26, not bad. All right, doesn't look like we got any issues, so all right, we'll go ahead and switch out to the 270, give this a chance to cool off. All right, guys, here is my Winchester Model 70 and 270 Winchester. We have a Vortex Strike Eagle 3-18 on there. This is an amazing rifle. Winchester Model 70, featherweight super grade. So these are very, very rare. They don't make these very often, but the only problem with this is I can only shoot it a couple of times. I can do 3 shots and then it's got to cool off because it's got a featherweight barrel. This is by far my favorite rifle, so I'm hoping we can get a good load for it. So let's look and see what we can do. So that was the 6.5. So let's end that session. We're going to do a new session. Yep, we definitely want to get the right grain weight. So we're doing 130 grains here. Okay, so 130 grains is kind of the sweet spot for 270. All right, so the first load that we are loading up for the 270 is 44 grains of Varget. So we're going to do 44 grains of Varget. We're going to send those 3 down, and we'll see what we can do. So the 270 is always a fast and flat shooting, so I'm really curious to see what we can get out of this Varget load. All right, here we go. $26.33. Okay. Brass looks good. $26.81. Still looking good. Whew, that's a very big group. 2668.5. I would fair to say didn't like that loading. That's like a 3+ inch group. Alright, we'll give this thing a chance to cool off. And we'll get the 6.5 Creedmoor back up with the next loading. Alright, we're going to load up the next 3 rounds of the 6.5 Creedmoor. We're going with 37.8 grams. 37.8 grams of Varget. So the manual says 38.2 is the max pressure. So we're not going up to that today. All right. Let's get back on there. There we go. Okay, 37.8. Alright, not bad. Don't think we got a very big improvement over the last group. Pressures are still looking good, so alright. We'll switch this one out, get the 270 up, and do that next. Alright guys, back with the 270, so now we are doing 44.5 grains of Varget. So 44.5. Whew, that was a big jump. Okay. That's good. Oh, there we go. Alright, looking promising. I don't want to jinx myself here. Alright, that's not bad. Okay. It's a little bit slower on that last one. If I had kept those velocities up, that'd have been 1/2 inch group. As it is right now, I think that's about a 3/4 inch group from what I can tell. Pressures look good too, so looking good here all the way around. All right, again, we're going to switch out. We'll get the 6.5 Creedmoor up for its last 3, and then 270 for its last 3, and we'll kind of wrap it up. All right, guys, last 3 for the 6.5 Creedmoor. We have 38 grains of Varget in here. Okay, so 38 grains of Varget. Max pressure for this, according to the manual, is 38.2, so we're just 2 grains underneath that. And that's supposed to be getting close to 2,700 feet per second. Let's see what it actually does. So far I'm happy with the velocity we've been getting. The groups could be better. Some of that groups could be me. That's gonna be a pretty big spread. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, we will pull the. Let's see what we're doing. Pressure looks good on these, so that part's fine. Yeah, okay, all that looks good on them, so let's we'll switch out with the 270 and we'll finish up. Alright guys, last 3 shots of the 270. We're doing 45 grains of Varget. Oh, if I forgot to say, it's 130 grain SST bullets, so 130 grain SST. Alright, 45 grains of Varget. Let's see how this does. Alright, there we go. That group opened up a lot. Oh, that explains why. That was a pretty big velocity shift. Alright guys. As far as pressure-wise, 45 was just fine. Velocities look good on it. So, let me go pull those targets, and then we'll wrap it up. Alright guys, let's talk about what happened there. Alright, so for the first one, we were shooting the 37.5 grains of Varget for the Ruger American 6.5 Creedmoor. We averaged 26.18 for our velocity with a standard deviation of 14.3, and this time we did about 1.5 inch group. So last time we did a 3/4 inch group with that. This time we did a 1.5 inch group with that. This first shot here, this right in the red, that was the very first shot. These were the next 2 shots. So I'm wondering if that was a me thing or a cold bore thing. Not sure. But it is in that velocity range that we want. Then we went up to 37.8, and we averaged 26.33 with a standard deviation of 11, and that's that group there. That's about a 3/4 inch group. Then we we kicked it up to 38 grains, and we averaged 26.45.1 with a standard deviation of 19.8. And we did that group there, which is just over 1/2 inch. So what this tells me is all 3 of these loads are in that range where I want to be for speed-wise. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to load up, I don't think there's a huge enough difference between the 37.8 and the 38 for me to really focus on which one of those is better. So I'm actually going to load up more of the 38 grains. I'm going to load up, I think we'll load up 12 rounds of the 38 grain Varget, and we'll get a little bit better idea of how well that is doing and see if that's going to be the load that we're going to run with. So that's for the 6.5. 270 was a little bit of a mixed bag today. So the first one we did was 44 grains, and we had 2661.2 with a standard deviation of 20.2 and a pretty big group. That, after looking at it, it's about a 2-inch group. Okay, so 1, 2, and then over there's 3. So that's not good. Then we went up to 44.5 grains, and we averaged 2691.2 with a standard deviation of 36.9, which is this bottom group, which turns out to be, it's about a 1-inch group. So the biggest deviation of speed by far, and we still ended up with about a 1-inch group. And then we went up to the 45 grains, and we had 2721.9 with a standard deviation of 23.3. And we did that group there, which is just over an inch. It's probably 1.2, 1.3 inch group. So that leaves me with a little bit of a conundrum here. The speed-wise, the 45 grains did really well. So I'm going to load up some more of the 44.5 grains, and then I'll probably do a 44.8, and then we'll do another 45, and we'll see if we can tighten the groups up and fix that standard deviation, because that's not fun. But guys, the reason we do this load testing is to find out what's going to be best for these rifles, and the Varget powder may not be what's best for the 270. I know there's other powders that are the gold standard for this, but I've got Varget. I wanted to give Varget a try. Where we live, I need something that's very, very temperature stable. That matters with your powders. During hunting season, we can get as low as the 20s, negative 20s with wind chill, and we can get as high as the 60s. So you need a powder that's going to be able to be stabilized and all of that. So that's why I really like Varget. But guys, today, always fun when I can get my favorite rifle out to shoot it. The 6.5 Creedmoor is just so easy to shoot. There's a huge difference when shooting these things. I can shoot the 6.5 Creedmoor suppressed. Can't do that with my 270 because it doesn't have a muzzle brake. It's not a threaded barrel. It's just an old school rifleman's rifle that's just a bunch of fun to shoot. So guys, I hope you enjoy this content. This is a little bit different than what we've done before, doing some load development. I'm really excited to start hand loading and really tune ammo to my rifles. It's going to save a ton of money on getting rifles, reviewing rifles. I don't have to buy so much factory ammo. I can use hand loads that have been proven and like firearms. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you everyone who's subscribed. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Helps our channel out. And as always, guys, stay blessed.